Holy shit, I was just looking on YouTube and I was looking at the video I posted yesterday, We Was Racist. And I was noticing how many videos there are about angry white people. You know, we're sick of them. White lives matter. Like, more than I imagined I would ever see on YouTube. It's crazy. This incident has really gotten people really upset, especially with the way that the people are handling it. Again, in my opinion, it's all psyop. It's all a made-up thing. The father of that kid looks like the granddad. They always do this in these psyops when they have children die. Like the Hook was a huge one for that. They had these kids that were 7 and 8, and the parents were in like the fucking 50s. It's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. So the dad of the Metcalf guy looks like his grandfather. He's fucking, that's an old man, you know. And I don't care who you are, no dad that I've ever met or that I would know in my life would ever be that much of a cuck about the whole thing. There's no way. No way. His kid's dead? No. He was just playing that part for the psyop, like, you know, just so white people don't get angry. He's like, hey, you know, I don't know if that's what they wanted him to do. He's definitely not the dad, though, in my opinion. You know, he looks like my fucking dad, you know? So the whole thing's a psyop, but what it's showing people is, you know, content of character and actions are being seen. And like a lot of us have noticed this years ago. I've been talking about it years ago. The fatigue has been real for a long time. I escaped it for a little while. Before I lived here, I was living in New Hampshire out in the woods, and there was nobody out there, you know. And then and I'll just go over here. And then I moved here. We didn't have any people like that here. And I was told by everyone we never would, because they can't afford to come here. They can't afford to live here. And that was the case until COVID came. Then when COVID came, the government started moving them all in. You know, they're all part of a military operation. When they got rid of all the people, I thought he was talking to me. When they got rid of all the people here who couldn't afford to stay here because the state withheld COVID funds, and the people hardest hit were the islanders whose home this was at one point. The generational islanders who, you know, all different races. Pacific Island type races, Samoans, Filipino. Those are the only two I can always think of. I don't know why. They had to go because they lived here the longest. This was their home before it was a tourist destination, right? So it became this exclusive place, like, around them. You know, they didn't move here. They're always here. This was their home. So when they withheld COVID funds for up to 8 months, and some people forever, I never got my last check, people were forced to leave. And like I said before, this whole area, a lot of these buildings were empty. You know, people that had been living here were just emptied out. You know, or the other people that own them, the people they're renting them to, couldn't afford it anymore because there was no money coming in. I mean, no one had money. Everyone was freaking out about it, about them withholding funds at the time, and they kept coming up with lame excuses. I've covered this thing ad nauseum, but the point is, they shipped them all in around. They started in late 2019 before COVID, but the main group came in 2021, and then in 1 year time, from 2022 to 2023, we had an 80% jump in homicide and almost 50% jump in violent crime, rapes, muggings, murders. Had 2 murders right there where that bus stop is, 2 different ones, which is that street. That street right there had a standoff situation where they shut down this whole street. I have a video. featuring that. Yeah, we started seeing the kind of crime we never had here before. It was the second safest city in America, and now it's currently the 9th. What changed? Well, a lot of Pacific Islanders got kicked out, and all those spaces were filled with people from Haiti, people from Africa, and blacks from the mainland who are coming from bad neighborhoods. They're not sending black doctors and lawyers. I know that's a very small group, but they're still out there. They're sending their worst because these are people that were already on the government, because it's a government program. They come here and they live off the government. But the government, I don't know what they're paying them. I know they gave them to move here. They gave them more money than they usually get with their welfare, and they're put on SSDI instead of welfare. And I've heard them talking about it just out in the wild. I knew this anyway, but yeah, this is what they do. I don't know if it was to obfuscate the amount of people that were coming in because they're afraid they put too many people on welfare or whatever. It would look weird. I don't know. No fucking idea why. But at any rate, that's what they did. So, yeah, they moved them all in. The place is not the same. Not the same. I've had multiple fucking bad interactions that I talked about here. But from the years, like I was in New Hampshire out in the woods for like 3 years, and then I had like 6 years here or 5 years here. So it was I wasn't around them for like 10 years. It was fucking wonderful. I kind of forgot how to deal with them. I spent a lot of time living in bad neighborhoods because as an artiste, as a starving artiste, all the money goes into the art, and you gotta live in kind of shitty neighborhoods, shitty places. And so I kind of knew how to deal, I kind of had the psychology down pretty good, which is basically you got to interact with them like it's your nephew Patrick, but Pat at 8 years old. And once you get that in your head, you're like, oh, all right, I can do this. And that's what you got to do. Speaking of someone who still has a child mind, I have to go in here and look at my stupid plastic shit, see if there's anything new. You really don't have to visit me daily at all, because I get on some subjects and all I do is I rehash them for like 3 days and then move on to other stuff. I feel like I just said all this stuff yesterday. I probably did. But yeah, I don't have hate in my heart for anybody. I mean, I already settled science on hate. It's not something that you can feel for someone you don't know. That's ridiculous. It's a word that they use to keep you from saying stuff they don't like. Hate is a state you have to fall into, like love. I would say it's on the opposite end of that same string. So you can't hate people you don't know. That's fucking bullshit. They just use that to silence you, I don't even fucking dislike anybody. There's just, of course, there's some people that I'd just rather not be around. If I see them around, I walk another way. But if they're in the elevator, I'd take another elevator. You can have these preferences. You still have the right to decide who you want to be around. What's it called? The assembly right of, I forget what it's called, but you have the right to be around the people you want to have. What the fuck is it called? Not the assembly. I don't know. The point is, if you don't want to be around people, you don't have to be around them. Today, though, they try to make it so that you have to be around everyone at all times. Like, you try to jam all these people. In cities, I mean, that's just how it is in cities anyway. I mean, especially like this city, being a tourist area. But there was a barrier of entry here for, up until COVID, where you couldn't really come here if you didn't have the money to come here. That's why it was so safe. That's why it was so fucking awesome. That went away. And I just try to avoid certain people. I just stay away from them. Because they hate you. You know that. It wasn't always that way. This was post Obama spell when the golems were activated. And yeah, I just don't, I wish any ill on anyone. I just want them over there and me over here. And I'll adjust myself to make that happen. If they're over here, I'll go over there. I don't mind. I'm not picky. I don't want any certain area. I just don't want to share one with them. Because I don't want to fucking take a piece of metal in the fucking Reds for no reason. And that's, you know, definitely a possibility. I mean, we've seen these people get on buses and attack old people. Like, just start beating the shit out of them. Like, what are you doing? They don't even know. They don't even know. And you know, that kind of behavior, white people look at it and they go, how could they think of it? Because you're thinking about it from a white brain perspective. They have a whole different brain setup than we do, a completely different neural pathways, and they're experiencing, for all intents and purposes, a different reality than us. And you're never gonna see eye to eye, and they hate you. So you gotta just, there's nothing you can do about that except stay away. You know, give wide berth, and that's it. And that's it. I always give extra space. I'll go around the block before I have to get near certain people. It's just not worth it, because it just takes that one. It's just like, you know, you see a bunch of pit bulls and a pack come trotting up the street. Are you gonna say, well, this might be the one that doesn't want to bite my fucking leg out? No, you just fucking avoid the pit bulls, you know, and then you have to worry about it. You just have to do that. You gotta just keep a distance, you know, just and watch your family and keep them away. Just how it is. Maybe someday that won't be the case, but I can't see when that day will come or why it would. You know, the reason it never happened before, or you know, up until Obama, was the thought wasn't put out there, the spell wasn't cast. Excuse me. There was no black magic going on, and it's absolutely black magic. I mean, I've done videos on the Trump spell and the Obama spell and how those things work. The presidents don't cook the spells up. This is all done by the other weirdos at the top of the pyramid. The president is just a spell caster. They go in front of people and they cast a spell. That's why they need good talkers that have charisma and that people respond to. They trot them out every 4 years to see which ones the people respond to, negatively or positively. Because all they really want is the attention. If someone gets their attention, they hate Trump, he's still getting their attention. They don't like Obama, he's still getting their attention. They want to see who the people will listen to the most, and then they decide who they're going to make the president. And that's how that works. They groom these guys for years. Plenty of pictures of people, presidents with enemies of theirs as young people coming up. I forget the Bill Gates and the Obama and Big Mike picture. Yeah, they groom these people. You know, again, all magic, black magic bullshit. I just had something else I wanted to touch on. What the fuck? Sometimes I get thrown. Hang on a second. And then those times where I'm just talking, I'm going into a thing just now, and I look and the screen's black, not recording. I fucking hate that. I had a few good possible thumbnails too that would have been good. I don't linger too long. I just get enough to make an image. That's about it. But yeah, I missed a good one. What are you gonna do? But yeah, that's all there really is to say about that until new developments happen. So you can just put that in the settled science column, because as far as I'm concerned, that's solved. Until I talk about it again, I can do more. But until then, thanks for dropping in. It's always good to see you here. Oh, I love dog fights around here. Dogs fucking... Everybody's got little ones too, because, you know, the apartments are small. Except for the ones, people that got shipped in from the CIA. Those people got some big apartments, man. They got some real big apartments, some nice ones in some of these buildings too. Way nicer than mine. And they're not paying anything for them. Whatever. I guess, see, I can't let it go. Whatever. It's fine. It all has to come down. It all has to end. And we're all going to make it out of here. You know? It's just enduring. That's our job here. Is to just endure. Try to help people around you. Try to keep your own morals and dignity intact. And that's harder and harder to do in this world. I certainly didn't practice that for a large portion of my life. It was only when I came back to God and Jesus when I looked at all that and I was like, what the fuck was I doing? Because it's like, I don't know, man. Because it's like, I didn't know. I convinced myself that all that shit wasn't real. You know, because as a kid, and not to get into it, I'm going inside out. As a kid, I was really into it. I was super in. I used to do like maths in my head. I was really into God. And then things happen to you, you know, shitty things happen to you. And you think, well, none of that can be real. Never mind the stuff that's happening to me, but why would people that are doing this stuff do this to me? You know? And the thing is, too, it's right in front of you the whole time. Because some people do a lot of evil stuff for their, you know... It took me a long time, even when I started interacting with demons and stuff, to kind of come to God and realize, wait a minute, there's a good side to this, too. You know, these things don't exist in a vacuum. It's almost like there was a fucking spell on me that was keeping me from wanting to go to God or going to God. I wouldn't be surprised if there was. You know, people here are working overtime to keep you away from God. Everything's about keeping you away from God, keeping you away from your identity, keeping you away from what you really are, your creativity, your creative being. You're creating this world to them. As long as you don't know what you are, they can just feed shit into your head all day, and then your reality creation machine, which is you, makes this bullshit. I mean, not this bullshit. This is some nice bullshit. And they can't have you afford to realize that. Because if enough of us do, we can kick their card table over. Their card table is going to be kicked over. I don't know what the critical mass is on that situation, but it's got to happen. Jesus isn't returning on a cloud to come meet us. Beware of churchians and fucking Bible scholars. Jesus is returning through us. And he's coming back with a sword. And he's all out of fucking bubble gum. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.